Hi there and welcome to the Barbara Young channel and welcome to my Friday Sews. First of all, I'd just like to say thank you to Jen from Today in Jen's Sewing Room for creating the hashtag Friday Sews. Well, what have I been doing this week? Or what have I not been doing this week, I suppose is the question. So let's start with a pattern. So first item that I've not managed to get done is a pattern. It's the New Look 6509. Which is that one, which is actually this one. This is the one I made before. It's my first version of it, and I decided to make it again, but with some paisley patterned needle cord. Now, I got the pattern out, I've got the material ready, and I've actually started to do a little bit of cutout of the material, but that's about as far as I've got with it. Haven't really got much further than that, mainly because I've had other things to do, so haven't been able to really get on with that one very much. I am going to be videoing, or have started recording the progress on that, so that will be a video in itself. So I'll have to just keep you informed as to how I get on with that, and hopefully at some point there will be a video of that coming out when I get on a bit further with it. So there we go, New Look 6509. Now there is something that I did manage to get finished this week. Now previously I'd shown you a bag that I'd been given that I took apart and copied, which was basically this one. This little bag is a great little bag, but when I made it there was a few things that wasn't quite, well, I say quite right, just didn't seem to fit well, partly because the original bag was sort of a leather, faux leather material, and this is material, so it didn't quite translate in the way that I wanted. So I decided I wanted to remake it, which is what I said I would do, to try and sort out one or two of those little issues. So first of all, I'll start off with pattern. So I did actually make some pattern pieces so that I could understand how to put it together. Let's get them all out. Starting with the main piece. Now I wanted to keep it really simple, so basically what I've got is the main body being this piece cut on the fold, and effectively I just cut this out 4 times. 2 pieces for the front and back of the outer, and 2 for the lining, whatever lining I want to use. So the outer will be a slightly heavy material. I always envisaged it that way, with a sort of ordinary cotton material for the lining. So that makes it very simple. So I just cut that out basically 4 times. So I haven't got to worry about different pieces and different sizes. Then besides that, we've got the base, of which again, the way that I'd done it, I cut out 2 of the outer and 1 of the lining, and it's quite a simple base, nice and just oval shape. I suppose I could square it off on the corners, but I like the way it gives that roundness on the bottom. Then on the outside we've got this tab piece, like a little flap that comes over. Basically it's very much the same as it was before, only it doesn't need to have such a long piece on it, a tail or a tab, because basically it's not going to have like a buckle piece on it. It's just going to have a magnetic clasp on there. And then the only other pieces I need are pockets. This one is to do a patch pocket that will go on the inside internally, and then this, what looks like a big piece, and it's quite a big piece, is going to form the zipped pockets that I'm going to have, one on the outer piece and one on the inner. So as you can see, there's very few pieces, and that makes it nice and simple, so I haven't got to worry too much about how many pieces I've got to put together. And what we end up with is this. Looks very much like the other one, with a strap for a adjustable strap, so I can make it go across body. Now I always use, or try to use, the cotton webbing because I just find it sits better. I like using it, but you can use polyester, I suppose, as I have done before now. And there we go, one bag. And this one sits a bit better. It's got a bit more structure because I used interfacing, iron-on interfacing on the outer layer, just to give it a bit more structure. I used an ordinary zip this time. The tab, as you can see, that tab there doesn't have that long tongue, but it's just acts as you can grab hold it with your finger and thumb, and there's a magnetic clasp there, just to go over the top of that zip, just to give another little bit of a closure on there. On the outside, we do have one pocket, zip pocket there, and it's not massively deep, but then this isn't a really deep bag. It's wide. You might get a phone in there, as long as it's not one of the really big ones. And internally, it's sort of pretty much the same. I'm fighting with it a bit here. Pretty much the same as it was before, and if you can really see that in there. But what I've got is, on this side, I've got the patch pocket, and over on the other side, I've got the zip pocket. That's internal. So, you know, there's a lot of room in there. And the other thing about this is that on the original, the lining was designed that you've got two big pieces and you just stitch it up along the bottom, but it didn't really seem to have the shaping it needed to sit internally inside here. So what I've done is the outside is two pieces like that, and then an oval piece that's actually got some bigger padding in there. So it's two layers with some wadding in between to give it that bit of thickness that I feel it needs to give it that sturdiness. And the lining is effectively the same. It also has this oval piece in there that the original didn't. So it means that lining actually sits into the bag in the same shape as the outer. So it does sit inside much better. So it's less sort of bagginess inside the bag. So yeah, that is the bag. Now, I should have really top stitched along this zip line because it wants to roll out, but it's not a problem because once the zip is done up, it seems to sit all right. Now, the other main thing that I did as well that I've changed is the way that these straps go in. Basically, while it was inside out, I pushed what is that bit in there, stitched along, and then pulled it through. So these are like that, rather than on the original where you have these sort of additional pieces that you have to put over and then sew on the top. Great for the way the leather or the faux leather one worked, but not so great with the way the material one works. So I changed that, and I'm much happier with the way that now sits on there, you know, because that's really anchored in. It's just a bit of a pain trying to get it centered up because that one's not quite centered up. But it works, so that's a much better bag than the first one. So I think that really I've ironed out the issues that I had previously when I first made it, and now I've got, you know, what is quite a nice little ordinary carry bag with plenty of room and pockets in it. There we go. That is my new little bag. Brilliant, I think. Now, having to be out and about and doing things this week, which sort of slowed me down with doing sewing projects, I did happen to go past my favourite thrift store again. I know, I couldn't help myself. I had to go and have a look, as I always do. And I did find a couple of things. First up is a pattern, which is the New Look 6723. I thought that was really, really quite a nice little dress. How does it describe it? It doesn't really, just says dress. So yeah, no, there's no real description as to what style of dress it is. So I don't know what sort of style you'd call that, but it is a really nice dress. I'd probably do it without the sleeves because I like sleeveless dresses. You even get a little pattern for the actual, there's a little clutch bag there, so that's brilliant. You get that as well. Marvellous. There you go. 6723 in sizes 8 to 18 according to this, and this pattern is from, I'm not sure if it's going to give me a date on here, it doesn't always. 2007 that one was from. So yeah, brilliant, nice little find, nice new look, and it's not been opened, it seems to be factory folded, so that's brilliant. And the other pattern I got was actually a Prima pattern. Now this comes with a magazine, the Prima magazine here in the UK, and they tend to have patterns in them. Now these always appear in the thrift stores, and every so often I do see one that I quite like the look of, and this is basically it says a 1960s inspired summer dress. So it's just an ordinary dress with a little bit of a sleeve, and there's like a little ruffle detail on the waistline with that. I thought it was a nice little thing, so it does seem like a very basic simple dress. So yeah, Prima dress in size 6 to 20, so have to have a look at that and see how that works out. I don't know when I'll get around to doing it, but at some point I might get around to it. So the next thing I found in the thrift store was a little book actually, and it's called One Bull Knits, Use Leftover Yarn to Make These Stunning Projects. So there we go, that's a little book that has a few patterns in it. It says 9 fantastic patterns. Now I'm just trying to see the details of who made the book. I think it's might be from a magazine. It says knittoday.com, so I'm not quite sure as to who the author or publisher of this book is, but there you go. And then it's got shopping guide thing at the back, so Knit Today. So yeah, so like I say, not totally sure of the authors, but there anyway, you get in here a lace scarf, snuggly bunny, cute clutch bag, the baby beanie, a picot booties, tiny socks, hearts sachet, pretty hairband, and a vintage vest for a baby. So you know, there's a number of different projects to do, but the reason I got this is because these are like little things, and I want to try and progress my knitting skill, because at the moment I've done a little bit of knitting, started getting into it, made a few very small things, but I want to actually have some patterns I can work with that give me some basic skills, just a bit more than being able to knit and purl and do a bit of ribbing. I want to actually make something that, you know, is a product, it's a finished item, and I've not really been doing that at the moment. So yeah, hopefully that'll give me the chance to practice a bit of that, those knitting skills. Another little item that I also found in the thrift store was some actually, well, I couldn't decide, is it binding tape or is it something else? And it's not. It's not binding. Well, it could be used as binding tape, but I mean, it is really wrapping tape, as they call it. But it is polyester, and it's basically that thing, you know, with hearts and the word love on it, which is brilliant. So, I mean, obviously for doing presents, whatever they might be, you know, I don't know, birthday or Christmas or some other celebration, and then you just, if you want some tape, you just tie that round and do a little bow and make it look very lovely. So, you know, with the statement of love on it. So there we go, some tape. I suppose, like I say, it could be repurposed and used within a sewing project, straps or a handle or bit of edging for something, but yeah, it is a great little finding these things. There you go, some tape. Now I think if I remember rightly, all these things that I did get, the 2 patterns, a little book and this tape, I think that was £3 in total. So I say I didn't spend a lot of money on them. I always try not to if I can. So there we go. I thought that was quite a bargain, really, finding 4 items for £3. Yeah, there we go. Marvellous. And finally, I've got one other thing that I have made. Now, what it is, basically, I've been asked by somebody to make a memory bear, of which I have done. And I've done that for them. Now, I'm not going to show you the memory bear that I've made because it's obviously for somebody else, and I believe, you know, keeping that as a personal, private thing is you know, keeping it in their memory rather than just showing it to everybody. What I have got though is my test one, as it were. Now, when I first got the pattern, I needed to test out that it would work. And here he is. Here's the bear. Now, he hasn't come out quite how I expected, but he has come out okay. Like I say, this one was the test bear. Now, I filled him with material bits, you know, all the little offcuts and whatnot. So that's how he's been filled, which makes him quite heavy rather than using proper toy stuffing, because I just wanted to know that I could put the pattern together and it worked, you know, all right, and I could make a bear from him. And there you go. I certainly have made one bear. Well, like I say, I've made more than one bear because I have made the actual one, which is for somebody else, but my test one came out just fine. So when I started sewing it, I found that the seams are quite small, so it's a bit hard to get the sewing done on the machine. So it's a mix of machine sewing and of hand sewing to put this together. So but doing this test one was really helpful for me to understand how he goes together and what techniques I need to use to put him together. So that was brilliant. So there we go. He'll be around the house now, I imagine, somewhere, probably maybe as I could use him with the doorstop, because it's quite heavy, this one, with the being filled with the material rather than the toy stuffing that you can get. So there you go, one memory bear. I say this is my tester. It's a nice little pattern and really quite simple to follow. So if I can find the link for it, I will certainly put that in below. But there you go, that's everything that I've been doing. So there you go, that's it, my week of sewing and making and thrifting. You know, that's not a great deal that's been done, but I've certainly got some things done. You know, it's nice to sort of try and push on with things, even though my main project, which is that new look 6509, which is, you know, this one, but in a paisley patterned needle cord. Hopefully I'll be able to push on with that. Like I say, that'll be a separate video once I've got that done. So that'll get published up hopefully before too long, within the next couple of weeks, but obviously I'll keep you posted on that. Otherwise, nothing else really much to say about, you know, life-wise. Things are just ticking along, I suppose. You know how it is, you know, you just sort of get on with the day-to-day. Other than that, that's it really for this week. So if you like this video, please do click that like button and subscribe. That way you'll get notifications when my videos come out. Please do comment. I do love reading your comments. It's always nice to hear what you're up to, what you're thinking, and also if you want to talk amongst yourselves, then please do, because that's why we have our weekly Friday sews to come together and build that community. So I think it's just left for me to say thank you very much for watching my video. I look forward to seeing my next video. Bye.
Yeah.